Firstly, thank you very much, Anton, for giving me opportunity to interview you for my YouTube channel and podcast.
Well, my pleasure to talk to you. I saw some of your episodes and they were pretty active, so it was cool. Yeah,
So
looking
I
forward.
so I thought to tell about you and the work that you are doing to my audience.
Well, what I'm doing, well, it's pretty hard for me to explain, but I usually explain that I work with cloud technologies and I try to contribute to open source, um, develop something for one customer and then make it open source. And well, staying pretty active in open source community, contributing to Terraform, AWS, and a couple other DevOps tools. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to explain, really.
So you have a company, you're CEO of it, and you are into it from last 10 plus years.
Can you repeat, please?
So Betajob is your company.
Yeah, that's right. So I founded this company, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, or maybe more, I don't remember. I changed the business like 3 times completely during this period. But for the last 5 years, I've been working pretty much exclusively with cloud computing and DevOps and Terraform. And yeah, that's what I like very much.
So you're from?
I'm from Ukraine, but I live in Norway many years. Yeah.
So what kind of service that you're providing through this Betajob?
Well, before COVID, I was providing consulting and trainings and different speaking engagements. But then when COVID started, I obviously couldn't travel, so I decided to make a bunch of online activities, like organizing meetups for some time, and then I continued with YouTube live streams. I really enjoy live streams because, well, it's just fun. And also, I have been teaching people how to use these technologies in different companies. So yeah, the consulting is definitely there. I mean, it's the best part which pays the bill.
So you give service to all the countries.
Yeah, I mean, I live in one of the most expensive country, which is Norway, but I provide services around the globe. Actually, currently, I don't have any contracts in Norway.
So what are the projects, the recent projects that you did?
Well, I develop a large amount, like pretty much 90% of projects in open source, like Terraform, AWS modules, serverless.tf, which is my serverless framework for people who want to manage AWS resources with Terraform, but they don't want to learn serverless framework. So this is a big amount of open source projects. Speaking about customers, I cannot or I don't want to reveal more than it is already public on betajob.com. There are, I think, about 10 different logos or names of companies I worked in the past. Local companies are like Telia Norway, where I worked, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I work a lot with different SaaS companies around the globe who wants to develop something, but they don't know how exactly to manage all of this stuff. And I'm coming to them and teaching them and explaining what are the solutions, how they can use it. And again, most of these companies are online, a large amount, like really, I don't know why, but approximately 50% of these companies are from Israel or from San Francisco. It's crazy. I don't know why, but very large amount.
So what is your favorite project?
Project, well, Terraform. It's quite obvious. I've been doing this since 2015, and I still enjoy it. I'm currently preparing for a big interview, which I will have in 2 days, and it's again about Terraform.
So how you give service to different country people remotely?
Yes, I've been working remotely. I mean, quite interesting. I believed into remote work idea when I started working at all in about 2002 or 2003. So my first project, which I delivered 2003, was a freelance marketplace for people who live in Ukraine and Russia, because I believed into the idea of remote work since that time. And now I obviously work remotely. I don't see pretty much any other people unless I travel there. Everything is online through a bunch of different ways. Communication is not an issue anymore. So when COVID started, I didn't have to change absolutely anything. I mean, everything was very, very much the same. So that's very good for me.
So how many people are working under you?
1.5. I would say 1.5 because I contract some people to work with me on specific projects for short amount of time. And I also like to make some experiments where I first make an announcement, or let's say find a project or find sponsors who want to support it, and then I find people who will be able to do the work, and I manage them and we deliver something together. This is one of the best model which I like because I'm not the one who is going to do the work itself, but it is still in open source and people use it. One of such projects which we have developed was sponsored by N0 and InfraCost, and we had very good success, I think, in November, about November last year. I really enjoyed this way. Now I'm working with a couple more people who are working on something rather invisible, but it will be amazing once it's finished. So that's how it is.
So what are the achievements of Betajob?
Sorry, what? Can you repeat?
The achievements of Betajob.
Well, I think one of achievements which I'm proud of is that I'm not sitting without work and I have a lot of fun. This is one thing which is achievement for myself, but achievement for pretty much everyone is that I'm pushing technologies which I believed into for many years, and I can see how this impact actually changed the way how people use these technologies. I'm talking specifically about AWS and Terraform, and this is the best thing which I can see. I'm also thankful for AWS and for HashiCorp for supporting me. And I mean, there are 3 things which I can say. Like, without Stack Overflow, we wouldn't have work, and without HashiCorp and AWS, I wouldn't have work as well.
So why you like Terraform so much? I can see you did a lot of videos on YouTube also.
Well, I like Terraform because it is one of the technologies which can be used to do what it was designed for very effectively. Unfortunately, or not unfortunately, the reality is that it takes a lot of efforts and a lot of knowledge for people to understand how to use it effectively. So that's what I'm trying to show to people and to educate on different occasions. So yes, as you mentioned, I produce videos every week where I show some live coding or fixing some things, but I also share content on my weekly newsletter, which is weekly.tf, which I send every Wednesday. Yes, and there I also share information for people who wants to learn more about these technologies.
So how you deliver your service?
Well, usually it's quite easy. First, I read contract, which is provided by the customer. Then I do some coding myself or by someone else. I push this code periodically, and I constantly talk to people on Slack, on Zoom, who are part of the customer team itself. So I'm working to do management for them, usually where I explain or educate them on some level. And I also write some code pretty much daily. So my final result usually is a bunch of different text files or configuration files and couple documents, different lengths, explaining how these things has to be designed or why it was designed this way. So pretty much it depends on the customer use case. But in general, I like to be hands-on, and I'm pretty bad with meetings on abstract topics. So that's one thing which I really bad at.
Is there any particular incident that you cannot forget when it comes to Betajob?
Incident. Well, not what I can remember right now, really. I like to take my job as quiet as possible so that there are no incidents, no fuck ups, or I mean, it's just plain stable and, well, nothing really exciting about it. There is no firefighting. I don't like to be firefighting. And, well, if it works, then it works. If it doesn't work, then I usually tend to switch job or switch customer, because I'm not in charge of changing all things which I would like to change. So, but this happens from time to time in different companies. I think it's normal.
You work by taking the project, or the experience of yours will help you in solving the problems very faster?
Yeah, one thing which I like actually in what I'm doing is that I'm always iterating based on my previous experience. So that's the thing which I also liked in my previous career when I was working as web developer, is that I was always trying to resell the same stuff over and over. Yes, it's good when you can sell the same stuff over and over, but I also have to make some improvements on the existing solution and resell it for the next customer. And then I figure out that there is such model which is called open source. So why not develop something for one customer, put it open source, make it available for people. People can use, companies can use, that's it. As long as company is not asking me infinite amount of questions, then that's fine. When companies or individual are asking enormous amount of questions, I tend to tell them that, sorry, but this is free project. If you want, you can buy subscription or you can buy consulting services, and we will talk about it.
So you work around the globe. So how you manage the time zones?
Well, that's the thing that I got used to work with time zones all my life. Even when I was living in Norway, I usually worked with teams located around the globe. So for me, it's absolutely not an issue, because the key point in cooperation is that we have known amount of work which we need to do. Plus, we know what kind of deadline we have, and we have pretty much everything is available if we need to find. So asynchronous communication is the key. Currently, I have one meeting 11 o'clock every day, but it's I mean, it was required at the beginning, but now when we are working pretty much independently, we don't need to talk unless we have something to discuss. So communication asynchronous is a key, as well as everything is stored in code or in Git repository. We don't have to exchange countless messages in Slack or an email, though I still have 5,106 emails unread.
So how you are able to manage, you write, you create content on your YouTube, and I can see you have a blog, and you also work full time. So how you are able to do multitasking?
Well, yeah, that's a very good question. I think the best what I can tell is that I actually sacrifice one of these things. So the way I work with this is pretty straightforward. I prioritize what I want to work on for the whole day. So if I want to make content, fine, then today is going to be a day where I make a bunch of different content or plan something in advance. When I have to work for some customer, then again, I will do my best to work just with this customer for the duration of the whole day. Then there is no interruption. I'm very effective with that. Though I still have a lot of questions from many different sources. So sometimes it is rather hard to dedicate, let's say, the whole day for one customer or for one stream of activity. So then I have mixed days where I do absolutely everything. Whoever asks me to do something, then I will work on that. So I tend to have these days more often before, but then I figure out that it's not very scalable strategy. So now I work with a couple customers during the week, and I have 1 day dedicated for the content. So that's how it is.
So how your previous experience helped you in managing your own company and doing the projects better?
Well, I think one of useful experience, I would say, which I had from before, was related to the fact that you need to be curious in many different things. Where in my world, I'm curious enough about many different things, but I passionately hate, I would say, or I still don't understand few technologies, which when I have to do something with them, I immediately think that, oh my God, it's going to be hard, and I already upset myself, and I think like, why I'm doing this? Life is so bad. So one of thing which I realized is that I need to just minimize amount of this kind of hard to consume or hard to work with technologies by minimum. So right now I have only one technology which I still don't understand even a bit, which is called JavaScript. I mean, I understand many other programming languages, and I can write in many, and I do write in many different languages, but JavaScript is just from different planet for me. So that's.
So I know cloud. I trained as a cloud engineer, and also recently I started learning JavaScript. It's interesting.
Yeah, and one more thing which I want to add is actually my laziness, I would say, to not learn something like by default, where a lot of people who I met, they say, oh, you just have to learn this technology, or we are using this technology, so you should learn it. And I always think, like, if I spend approximately, I don't know, half day or 1 day reading about this technology, thinking about it, and I still cannot get my head around it, then it's not me who is stupid. It's probably a very complicated technology. So this was partially related to, this was partially the reason why I made serverless.tf as a framework to manage serverless application on AWS, specifically because I spent way too much time thinking about existing solution, about accidental complexity, about different trade-offs which we need to make for different scenarios. And then I thought like, oh no, that's too hard. Let me make something on my own. And that's how that project started. I currently have one more project in development. It's somewhere in my head because I can see that people are struggling with understanding what does Terraform code mean, how configuration is written. It's usually way too complicated than it has to be. And I have few ideas how to kind of streamline this, how to express this, how to make it easier for people to understand, to query certain things. But it requires probably two things. First, it requires a lot of time, which I currently don't have. And second is probably requiring me to sacrifice some other existing projects which I have. So that's it's not going to happen that I'm just adding more and more projects into my pipeline, because it's not going to be effective time spending. Yeah.
So what you learned in this 13 years as a CEO?
What can you repeat, please?
What you learned in this 13 years as a CEO of Betajob?
Well, yeah, that's a very good question. Absolutely. First thing which I learned is that there are many different situations when you will have to do much more than just doing your favorite thing, which is like, oh, you have been writing code, cool, forget about it. So what my accountant is saying is that I probably have to hire somebody who is doing all other things related to sales, marketing, copywriting, but I don't know how to do this really. So what I'm currently doing, and that's what I've been doing for many years, I try to do everything myself just to learn how to do this. So I try to learn copywriting or try to do marketing, not because I couldn't find it, but I wanted to figure out how to do this. Like, what does it take to actually produce stuff which other people find interesting? And when I hear feedback from people who say like, oh, this was good or this was bad, then I can adjust, and constant reevaluation is very important for me. My family sometimes call me as I'm changing my mind very often, but I'm not changing it. I'm just adopting it. So if I said that I like this thing today, I may change it, and tomorrow I will say like, oh, this was absolutely worst decisions, because I just adopt my vision, and I think that this is just another more important thing to focus on. So during all my career at Betajob, I actually switched focus completely, like 180 degrees, 3 times. I was web developer as well as product owner or product manager, and then I was DevOps engineer. Yeah, actually 2 times, right? Yeah, 2 times. Web developer and then DevOps engineer, and focus on open source and Terraform. So I like to change things very rapidly, and I think this is one of the most kind of valuable thing which I have. I still have vision. I still think that I know where I want to go and what I want to develop during next 4 or 5 years at least. But I am changing direction slightly to prioritize certain things or certain contracts over another, because they are more beneficial for me in long run. So that's how I think this is very important point in being CEO.
So what is your strongest quality? The quality that drives you, that makes you things possible?
Well, I think it's called stubborn. So if somebody says that, oh, you need to do this, and you do this, but it doesn't work, some people give up. But if I think that this is the right thing to do, and I'm still convinced that this is the right thing to do, I will be stubborn and I will spend a week or weekend and do whatever is necessary, and really kind of I mean, many situations I've been to when my stubbornness actually brought very unexpected results, where many people said like, oh, come on, drop it, it doesn't make any sense. But I was so obsessed with that, so I really pushed it. I think it's fine.
So communicating with different country people and having technological discussions. So how you made this possible?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One thing which is uniting pretty much all of us is that we can speak English to some degree, and we usually understand the solution, right? We can read code, we can talk about different design principles, we can talk about different technologies, and I think that's pretty much it. You don't need to know history or political or governmental news or anything outside of that. So sometimes it's enough, but sometimes I talk to people and they say like, oh, you are too kind of dedicated to what you're doing, so it's very hard to have small talks with you. And I never had this kind of as a bad thing, because I believe that, well, if we're working together, you have your own life, I have my own life, we have something in common, which is probably this GitHub issue or pull request or project or whatever. As long as we're happy doing that, and I pay you or you pay me, it depends who is who, then that's fine. We don't have to be best friends forever.
So there will be a lot of people who will be watching and listening to our conversation from anywhere on this planet. So what do you tell to them about your work or the service that you're providing?
Well, I think I can give a couple more advices for people who are specifically looking into like open source career or even making a living of open source. I have one I don't know if it's proverb or if it's just somebody saying, oh yeah, it was my mom who told me many years ago, right? But for me, it's like proverb. So if you want to be successful in anything, just keep doing it for as long as necessary. So I took this to my heart so well that every time when I'm doing something, even if I don't know anything about it, but I'm curious about it, I'm passionate about it, I start contribute or start reading or do something, then you will become more well known in this field. So for anyone who is watching this, if you want to be an expert, believe me, you will not be born as an expert immediately, right? I mean, it's unlikely that you will be born as, I don't know, Terraform guru since day one. So most likely the most effective way is for you that you are curious all the time. And as soon as you find some way to share this knowledge or some ways to contribute it in any way, not necessarily open source project, feel free to do that. And you will be amazed by the amount of feedback you will hear from people who will say like, you are doing this great job, or you are doing this bad. So this is like one thing. And second thing which I want to say is related to negative feedback. Think about negative feedback as not bad thing at all. If somebody is giving you negative feedback, it means that they spend the energy to give it to you. So disregard what they say as a negative. Think that they spend some time looking into what you did or learning from what you do, and maybe they're just jealous. Really, I sometimes hear so good feedback from people who are doing great job, but then they suddenly say like, "Oh, I'm so tired. Nobody is recognizing what I'm doing, and I will just change work." Well, you can change work, or you can just continue pushing people, continue sharing this knowledge. Luckily, there are so many opportunities for us to share knowledge right now. I mean, we can participate in different conferences or meetups, contribute to different projects. So that's not a problem with information sharing. Just keep doing it for certain amount of time. It can be 1 month or it can be 1 year. It depends, but just keep doing it. And I'm sure that if you are new in this field, or if you don't know enough, just keep pushing it in any direction and you will be very effective. Then you will understand that, oh, I actually need to know a little bit more about kind of related topics, but at least you will be already know about one topic very well. So I highly recommend to keep focus and be stubborn, and really that's probably the best advice which I can give.
I'll put your web links in the description of this video on YouTube. People who finds our video on YouTube can see the work that you're doing and can learn from you and can take your service.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sai.
Yeah. So at last, what do you say as a CEO of a company, as a person who is experienced in technology? What do you say about my videos on YouTube?
Well, I like that you invite people of so different professions. Like I watched one video with some guy from military. Yeah, it's very good. I mean, what you're doing is very motivational. Because I watched some videos and I thought like, who is this guy? Like, let me see his videos. And all of your videos were where you are smiling, another person is talking, and I was like, oh my God, I want to be there because you are smiling all the time. It's so good. Yeah, great stuff. Keep it up, and that's great.
Thank you, Anton, for your valuable words. I'll keep your words in my mind, and it will drive me for sure. And also, you are inspiration for a lot of people. Um, the words that you said, if it affects at least one person, if it changes their life or the decision making of them, or if that helps them in growing their personality or the skills, it it is a big thing through my medium.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yeah, sure.
And also,
Yeah.
can I put this video and audio clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media,
Yeah,
everywhere with your permission?
yes. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Anton. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.